The idea behind a worker full-length dart kind of came out of a discussion going on over on Reddit, and the observation was made that the worker shorts, even though they were coming out at a 20 FPS or so slower velocity coming out of a flywheel, that they weren't losing any range. And the thought was, what's going to happen? What would happen if you put them on a full-length piece of foam? What would that look like performance-wise from a flywheel specifically? I tend to go more toward flywheels. It would give you the full length of the foam to accelerate the dart with the advantages of the worker tip. So I put these together, and I'll show these up here. They are an AccuFake that I ripped the head off, and then I took the head off of a worker dart, and you can see, and then I used hot glue to put them on there. And the idea again here is, could this possibly be the perfect Nerf dart for a whole range of applications, springers, flywheels? So let's take it in. I'll show you how I made these, and then let's put it through some various shot performance type tests. What I'm doing to assemble these is I've taken the heads off of some worker short darts, and I've taken the heads off of some AccuStrike darts just so you get the orange foam. And I'm going to take and I'm going to hot glue a little ring around there. Get the glue nice and hot. Hot glue in this hobby always has its detractors, but this is actually a pretty good application for putting heads back on darts. So I'm going to put a ring around the very bottom edge right here, and then quickly stick the head onto one of the darts before the hot glue gets a chance to solidify. Get a nice ring on there, and then shove it on with a twist. And then as that hot glue dries, that comes all the way up the shaft, and then you end up with the tip of the dart glued on like this. And I'll show you do it again with the second one. Again, we'll clean this up a little bit here. And then glue around the bottom ring. Get a good dollop on there, and then before it gets too dry, take and just twist that in. And you see I failed. So I didn't do it fast enough on that one, so I'm going to pull that back out, and I'm going to give it a second try because I got the glue too cold. So we give it one more shot here. You can see a success, and you can kind of see a failure on how this goes. But you got to be pretty quick because that glue does dry, or does solidify up fairly quickly. There we go. Now we got it on there good. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up and do the remaining 6 of these. All right, for the next shoot, what we're going to do is we're going to do kind of an overshot test. So I'm going to go over to the base of one of those trees there, which is going to be about 140 feet from the camera. And I'm going to shoot 10 of the modified worker long full-length darts over this camera, and then I'm going to shoot 10 blue AccuStrikes, the AccuFakes, over it. So the orange darts are going to be the modified worker ones. The blue darts are going to be AccuFakes, and we'll see where they come in landing wise. We're going to go through the landing sites for the different darts. I laid the blaster down at the camera stand, so that's at 140 feet from the shot. First dart here, we've got one that's about 105, 110 feet. Again, these are the blue AccuFakes. Got a couple AccuFakes here, looking at about 125. This guy's about 130, 130. That guy's around 130. This guy's 135. But there's a fairly good cluster of the AccuFakes here within that 120 to 135 range. Moving past, here we're at 140, where the camera stand and the blaster was for the overshoot. We've got our first orange dart here at about 150 feet close. It's kind of hard to see down here into the, it's kind of in the grass a little bit, hard to find. That's the first one. That one's short. The rest of them seem to be down range farther. We're probably sitting about 165. There's a couple back here about 160, 65 feet. This one's up here close to 170. There's one over here about 175. A couple more here in the 175, 180 feet range. So the conclusion from this shoot in this overshot test is we're seeing, I don't know, almost a 50-foot range increase. Same blaster with the just changing the tips out, having the worker tips on a full-length dart versus having the AccuFake tips on the dart. All right, so we've got a lot of data to go through. Let's start with the chronograph readings. It looks, this compared to the AccuFakes coming out of, first of all, the blaster that I was using, the Foxfire, it was a high crush OFP 41.5 millimeter crush cage with Cyclone wheels, and I believe I got Neo Hellcats in there, so it's a top-end build as far as performance-wise goes. And so looking at the AccuFakes coming through there, they were in the low 150s. These came in the high 140s. So it was about a 5 to 7 FPS drop with these darts going on, which makes sense because the worker tips are a bit heavier than the AccuFake tips. So if you've got a heavier dart, you put your same energy into it, you're not going to get quite as high. However, the numbers actually were really good. Getting numbers in the high 140s out of this, that's a lot of energy being transferred into this dart. And then you could see that in the overshot test. Now, I wanted to get some video to see if we could capture the dart coming over the camera. That didn't turn out real well, so we just kind of talked through it. But you could see the clusters. It was a 45 foot difference in range. The AccuFakes were clustering around 125, 130. These darts were clustering out around 170, 175. There was an outlier that was a little bit short. But the difference in range was phenomenal. And then putting them on an accuracy test, doing a shot from about 40 feet away coming into the camera, it looks like the accuracy of the darts was consistent with what the AccuFakes were. So conclusions kind of drawn from this. This was an impressive experiment. I was I was pleasantly surprised on how well these things actually shot. I went through several times with a high crush. The tip stayed on with the glue. Velocity wise, they were right up there. Accuracy wise, they were right on par. And then the range on these things was, oh my goodness, the range was just phenomenal that I got out of these things. So I guess the only thing left we have with these is we've got to convince Worker to make them. Anyways, this is a look at a custom built Worker full length dart. Thanks for watching.